Hello everyone. Today we will see the third lesson, the little girl. Here, the little girl, in a little girl, do you feel that you know your parents better now? And the little girl story is of a little girl that is Kezia, who misunderstood her father's strictness and usually remained scared of him, and he kept a distance from him whenever he would be at home. She considered him to be as big as giant, and she would often get nervous and stutter while talking to him, and he longed means she longed for his love and affection like her neighbor Mr. McDonald. Okay, so let's start the story. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. What does it mean? Here, a figure to be feared means a person to be feared. And here, and who is the figure to be feared here? Kezia's father. So he refers to Kezia's father, and the little girl is Kezia. So the opening line of the story is indicating the fear that Kezia has for her father, and as she is fearful of her father, and she tries to avoid him and she tries to remain away from him. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with "Goodbye, father." So every morning before going to work, Kezia's father would visit her in her room and give her a casual kiss, and in reply, Kezia would say, "Goodbye, father." So this action of Kezia's father shows his love for Kezia. And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. Glad sense of relief means feeling relaxed. Fainter and fainter means to lessen or to reduce. Here, carriage like horse cart were means of conveyance used in olden times, and so here we can make out the fear that Kezia has for her father. The writer says that when Kezia heard that her father's carriage was going away from home and he was leaving home, and the sound became fainter and fainter, that means the sound reduced, Kezia would have a sense of relaxation and she would feel relieved that her father had left. Now, why did she feel relieved? Because she feared her father and she was afraid of him, and so she was relieved when he left home. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. Means in the evening, when Kezia's father would return home, she would hear his loud voice, and this loud voice, against made her afraid of him. "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there, and bring me my slippers." And here, so as Kezia's father returned home, he would start ordering all the different things, and he would order the tea to be served to him in the drawing room, and he wanted the newspaper. He would ask his mother to go and see if the newspaper was there outside the house, and he would ask him to get him his slipper also. Kezia, mother would call to her, "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boot." Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly still, across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. Now, Kezia's mother would call out to her and ask her to remove her father's boot, and in order to make her obey, she would say that if she was a good girl, then surely she would obey her command. And slip down means come down quietly and unwillingly. So again, we see Kezia's fear for her father. That is why she would come down the stairs quietly and unwillingly. Unwillingly because she did not want to face her father. She feared him. By that time, she had his spectacles on and looked at over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. So, now just imagine Kezia's father sitting in the drawing room on a sofa and wearing his spectacles, and he is looking at Kezia over the spectacles. And now, the way he looked at her terrified her. She was horrified because maybe it seemed to her that he was staring at her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today? Don't know, father. So here, Kezia was reluctant in her work and she was slow in her motion, and so her father would tell her to hurry up and remove his boots and keep them out of the room, and then he would ask her if she had been a good girl that day. So, and then Kezia replied that she don't know how. So she why was she stammering? Because she was not confident. A person is not confident when he has any fear or any feeling of fear. Don't know. If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. So, stutter means to stammer or to speak with pause. So, here Kezia's father is copying her, and he also stammers like she did, and he says to her that if she is speaking like that or stuttered like that, then her mother would have to take her to the doctor for a checkup. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. So, given it up means stop doing it, and try so hard is making a lot of efforts. So here the writer tells that Kezia never stammered while she spoke to other people. It was only when she talked to her father and she lacked confidence, and that's why she tried very hard to speak properly and she stammered. Then wretched meaning is unhappy or sad, and on the brink of suicide means about to commit suicide. Suicide is kill oneself. So now Kezia's father looks at her and he feels that something is wrong with her, and he asked her why she is so unhappy, and then he tells that the mother that she should teach Kezia to behave in a better way, and she should not appear as if she is so unhappy and she is about to end her life. So he wants to say that Kezia seems to be so unhappy and with her life, and that she did not want to live any longer. Um, he hands her his teacup and asks her to place it back on the table. He was so big, his hand and his neck, especially his mouth, when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. So here, this is the feeling, this is the vision that Kezia has for her father, and she feels that her father was so big and he was just like a giant. And the writer says that Kezia felt that his hand and his neck and his mouth were all so huge, especially when he yawned, and it seemed as if he was a huge monster. And whenever Kezia thought about her father, she felt that she was thinking about a giant. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. But the little Kezia, but the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face and his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. So Every Sunday during the afternoon, Kezia's grandmother sent her downstairs to the drawing room in order to spend some time with her parents. So Kezia was supposed to behave in a nice and decent way in front of her parents, and they had a formal get together. So, here snoring means the sound produced by some people when they are asleep. So here we feel that Kezia felt a bit neglected. Every Sunday afternoon, when she went to her parent to meet them in the drawing room and have a nice talk with them, they were busy doing their own things, and her mother was busy in reading, and her father was busy in sleeping and snoring. So Kezia had this image of her parents in her mind, and they did not talk with her, and they didn't spend time with her. On the other hand, they were busy doing their own things. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. So here, gravely means seriously. So all the while Kezia's father was asleep, and she would just sit on a stool and watch him carefully till the time he would wake up and stretch his body, and then would ask the time and look at her. So Kezia's father would compare Kezia to a little brown owl, and he would say that the Kezia was staring at him just like an owl does. One day when she was kept indoor with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pincushion for a gift out of the beautiful piece of yellow silk. So now Kezia was not well and she had a cold, so she was supposed to stay at home. So her grandmother suggested that as she was at home and her father's birthday was approaching, so she could make a birthday gift for him. She asked Kezia to make a pincushion for him, and she also gave her a yellow colored fabric of silk to make the cushion. Laboriously with a double cotton, the little girl stitched three sides, but what to fill it in? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden, and she wandered into the mother's bedroom to look for scraps. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up and tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case, then sewed up the fourth side. So what she did now, laboriously with double cotton, laboriously means with lot of efforts or difficulty. Kezia put in lot of effort to make the birthday gift, and she used double cotton, and that is refers to a thread, and she stitched three sides of the cushion. But now Kezia had prepared the bag and the bag shape of the cushion. She had to stitch the fourth side, and before that she had to fill the cushion with something, and she did not know what to fill the cushion with. Now she's looking for a scrap. Wandered into means went into by chance, and scraps means small pieces of cloth or paper. So Kezia was confused that what should she use to fill the cushion with, as her grandmother was out in the garden and she was just looking for something, and she reached her mother's bedroom and she was looking for bits of paper or cloth to stuff into the cushion. And then Kezia is a small little girl and she is very young. Now what she do on the what she did on the bed table, she found a heap of sheets of paper. So she just gathered all the sheets and then tore them and stuffed those pieces of paper into the cushion, and then she stitched the fourth side of the cushion. And she had prepared a birthday gift for her father. So many of you can relate to Kezia's act, and many children do such things unknowingly, and they do not intend to create any mischief or harm anyone. but they end up doing it. Now Kezia has torn some important papers. That night there was a hue and cry in the house. Father's great speech for the Port Authority had been lost. Rooms were searched, servants questioned. Finally, mother came into Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room. Oh, yes, she said. I tore them up for any surprise. What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. So, um, hue and cry means angry protest. Now, there was a lot of shouting in the house because Kezia's father had prepared a speech for the Port Authority. That means for any particular meeting, and he was unable to find it. Now, we all know what the speech has, where the speech has gone, and it has been torn into tiny pieces, and Kezia has stuffed it into the cushion. And now the family searched everywhere. They asked the servants, but no one knew where the sheets of paper had gone. And finally the mother searched the Kezia's room. So Kezia's mother asked her did she see some papers lying on the table in her mother's room. So what Kezia, now here we get to see that Kezia is an innocent girl and she did not intend to harm anyone, and she was just preparing her birthday gift. And so very truly she tells her mother that she found some pieces of paper, and as she needed them to stuff into the cushion, so she torn them and prepared her surprise gift. That is the birthday gift that she had prepared for her father. Unknowingly, Kezia had done a great disaster. So Kezia's mother is so furious when she comes to know that Kezia has torn the speech and that her father is looking for, and she orders Kezia to come down into the dining room at that very moment. And she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. Well, he had sharply, mother explained. He stopped and stared at the child. Did you do that? No, 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 she whispered. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn things and see that the child's put to bed this instant. So now Kezia's father is full of tension, and as his important documents has been lost and Kezia has torn it into the pieces, and now Kezia will be scolded for the mischief that she has done. And damn thing means used to express anger at something. Now why Kezia's father referring to the cushion and that she has prepared as a damn thing, because he is angry at the cushion because Kezia has torn his important documents to prepare it. Now he is very angry with Kezia and he stared at her and asked her if she had torn the papers. Kezia was so scared that she was again stammering, and then Kezia's father ordered mother to go and bring that cushion downstairs and asked her to put Kezia to bed at that very moment. So, crying too much to explain, she lay in the shadowed room watching the evening light make a sad little pattern on the floor. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hands. I'm going to beat you for this, he said. Oh, no, no, she screamed, hiding under the bedclothes. He pulled them aside. Sit up, he ordered, and hold out your hands. You must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. So, shadowed room means that was dark and there was a light outside the room where was making a shadow in the room, and a little sad little pattern means refer to a sad atmosphere in the room. Now Kezia wanted to justify her action and she was innocent. She did not mean to harm her father. She was just preparing a surprise birthday gift for him. Kezia was very sad and she had been happy that she had prepared a surprise for her father and he would like it, but on the other hand she had accidentally committed a disaster. Now he is about to punish Kezia for the wrong act she has done. And here bedclothes means bed sheets, and that we are covering pillow cover bed sheets. So now Kezia's father told her that he would beat her with the ruler, and Kezia was so scared that she had tried to hide under the sheets. And then now here we come to know that why Kezia's father was being strict with her. Why was she punishing her? Because he wanted Kezia to know this thing once for all, that she should not touch that thing and does not belong to her, and he wanted to teach her this thing so that it benefited in her future life. Right now, she was a small child. She did not know what was important and what was not important. That's why, unknowingly, she had torn the important documents of her father, and so he was punishing her. He did not want to harm Kezia, but he wanted that Kezia should know that in future she should not touch anything that does not belong to her. Then, but it was for your birthday. Down came the ruler on her hand, pink palms. So Kezia tried to explain her position. She said that she had been preparing a birthday gift for her father and had to stuff it something. She just tore the pages to stuff them into the cushion, and she was trying to explain to him that she was just preparing a birthday gift for him and she wanted to give him a surprise, and she did not want to tear his important documents. But Kezia's father did not listen to her excuses, and Kezia's father hit them the palm of her hand with a ruler. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. What did God makes father for? She sobbed. Here's a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, pet. You will forget all about it in a morning. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. So Kezia was still not comfortable. She was crying and she said that God should not have made fathers. She hated her father and she was so innocent. She did not know what wrong she had done. She was just preparing a gift for him and she was heartbroken. And as he did not understand her and said that God should not have made fathers. And now Kezia's grandmother was trying to pacify her. She gave her a handkerchief to blow her nose in it and go to sleep. And she also added that by morning Kezia would forget the beating. Kezia tried to justify herself, that she said that she was trying to explain to him the reason for tearing the sheets of paper, but he was not ready to listen her. So again, we see that the little child was so innocent and she did not realize that her father hit her to teach her a lesson so that she did not touch anything that did not belong to her. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both hands behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. So now Kezia's grandmother had told her that go to sleep and by morning she would forget the beating that her father gave her. But Kezia never forgot the beating that she had got. Whenever she saw her father approaching, she would keep her hands behind her back because she felt that maybe he would hit her again and red color flew into her cheeks. And whenever she saw her father, she got scared and her cheeks got full of red color. The McDonalds lived next door. They had 5 children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. The father, with a baby Mao on his shoulders, 2 little girls hanging on to his coat pocket, ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once she saw the boys turn the hose on him and he tried to catch them, laughing all the time. So here the writer tells us about the Kezia's neighbor. Her neighbors were a family named McDonald's. In all, the McDonald's have 5 children, and Kezia would peep at them through a hole in the fence, and she would see that the family had a lot of fun, and they played a game like uh, that is called tag. And so all the children along with their father would have a lot of fun. Mr. McDonald would make his little baby mouse sit on his shoulders, and the two little daughters that he had, they would hang on to his coat pockets. So all the children were so much attached to their father, and they loved them so much that they would stick to them, and then they would run around the garden, around the flower beds, and they would laugh and laugh and laugh. And then Casey also wanted to have such funs with her father, and she missed it. One day, she saw the little son of Mrs. McDonald open the hose on him, and they open the water pipe and tries to make him wet. But Mr. McDonald was not angry with them. He tried to catch them and he was laughing. This was very strange for Kezia because her father was just the opposite of Mr. McDonald. Then it was, she decided there were different sorts of fathers. Suddenly one day, mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. So when Kezia saw Mr. McDonald, she realized that he was quite opposite to her father, and she felt that God has made various kinds of fathers. And one day, Kezia's mother fell ill, so she was taken to the hospital, and the grandmother also went along with her. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice, the cook. That was all right in the daytime, but while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. Now Kezia was all alone at home with the cook. The name of the cook is Alice, and now Kezia was fine during the day, but at night, when the cook put Kezia to bed all alone, Kezia started feeling scared. "What will I do if I have a nightmare?" she asked. "I often have nightmares, and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark, it all gets whispery." So Kezia explained to Alice that whenever she had nightmares, she would go to her grandmother and she would sleep with her. So she said that she could not stay all alone in the dark because she would be scared. She could hear different kinds of whispering sounds, which made her feel that there was someone around her. "You just go to sleep, child," said Alice, pulling off her socks, "and don't you scream and wake your poor pa." So here, Kezia's father was sleeping in the next room, and Alice told Kezia to sleep quietly. She removed Kezia's socks and asked her not to scream. She warned her not to scream and wake her father, but Kezia was helpless. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, "Grandma, Grandma." She walked shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. "What's the matter?" he said. So, a butcher is a person who cuts animals, who cut meat. So now there is a nightmare that the Kezia had often. She would see a butcher. So this butcher would hold a big knife, a huge butcher's knife, and a rope, and he would approach Kezia, and he had a dreadful smile on his face. And once Kezia would see him, she would feel that she was unable to move. She was so much scared of him, and she was terrified to see the butcher. And In her sleep, Kezia cried out for help. She called for her grandmother. When Kezia woke up, she was shivering and she was trembling. And she saw that her father was standing next to her bed and he was holding a candle in his hand. So, Kezia's father had heard her screams and he had heard that Kezia was calling for her grandmother and he had come to help her. So, he asked Kezia what was the matter and why she was screaming. "Oh, a butcher, a knife, I want Granny." He blew out the candle, bent down, and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tucked up the child. He lay down beside her, half asleep, still with the butcher's smile all about her. It seemed she crept close to him, snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. "Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm," said father. So Kezia was still scared of the nightmare. She said that there was a butcher, he was holding a dreadful knife, and she wanted her grandmother. Then, so here we can see that the affection that Kezia's father has for her, and he blew the candle off. He lifted her and carried her to his bedroom. And tucked up means covered up nicely in bed. And Kezia's father lay her in his bed next to him and covered her with the top sheets. And snuggle means moved into a warm, comfortable position close to another person. Now Kezia felt her father's affection, and so she went close to him. She snuggled herself towards her father and she held his shirt tightly so that she would not feel scared again. And now Kezia had overcome her fear of her father. Now, once Kezia was with her father, she was no longer afraid. And he asked Kezia to rub her feet against his legs so that they became warm. Tried out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. "What's the matter?" asked her father. "Another dream." "Oh," said the little girl, "my head's on my heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear." So, now here Kezia realized her mistake and she had affection towards her father, and she felt that her father was a poor man. He worked so hard. He was not so big as she found him to be earlier. And now she felt that her father was a poor man and who worked very hard. So he got so tired that he went off to sleep and did not play with her like Mr. McDonald did with his children. But Kezia felt that her father's heart was also full of love for her, and she also realized that she has torn up his important documents, the speech that he has written, and all his realization makes sure take a deep breath, and she realized that she had been wrong, and that is why her father had beaten her. She had been so strict with her. Then, although Kezia's father was asleep and he heard her sigh, and he heard the sound that Kezia made, and he asked her what the matter was, and was she again watching a bad dream. Then Kezia replied to her father that she had placed her head on her father's heart, and she could not hear. She could hear his heartbeat, and she complimented her father that he had a big heart. So Kezia is showing her love for her father, as she had realized that her father also loved her. And this story was written by Catherine Mansfield. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe my channel. Bye.